Hello everybody and welcome to the Ortelius Visionaries conference. My name is Sacha Wharton and I'll be presenting Dev to Prod in one step. I'm a senior DevOps engineer for CubeVisor, which is based in Munich, Germany, and a Ortelius board member. Just introduce a little bit about Ortelius. It's an open source project under the CD Foundation, and you can think of Ortelius as the grand overlord of microservices, recording their every move. Just to set up the scene a little bit, we're assuming here that we have our source control provider chosen. In this case, I've chosen GitHub, and we've chosen our cloud provider, in this case AWS. The foundations of the house are set up and ready for tenants to move in. We have our environments or stages set up, dev, test, and prod. We have all our containers built. We're using EKS for all our Kubernetes clusters. We're using Captain as our build tool, Ortelius as the overlord, Argo CD for our application parameterization and automation, Helm charts for the KS templating and parameterization of the component services, and we are using a Spring Boot Java web framework. Here we have a monorepo consisting of some component services within this monorepo. And what are we going to do is we're going to break out each one of those services into polyrepos, and we're going to copy their code into each of those polyrepos for the respective component service. We will push any parent dependencies to a Nexus server, and this will allow any other component services to fetch a dependency or a parent dependency if it needs so. Here we have an example of a polyrepo with the code copied in, and obviously all the other component services will be created exactly the same way with their code. And then we can then build each component individually and manage each repo individually. Each code-based repo will be married to a Helm chart so that we can parameterize the application. Helm charts generally have the final say, and this allows us to really get our component service in shape before it goes into our environment. Here you can see the 3 different values files, which allows us to move between the different stages. We have our values dev and our values test and our values prod, and our values.yaml file, which is for all default configuration. We have a templates folder, and in there we usually put our config maps. Here's an example of an environment variable config map, and just as it says, it's all the environment variables for this particular component service. Here, for example, we have got a config for RabbitMQ. It's also using Helm templating, which will allow us to replicate this configuration throughout the different stages. Here we can show the values files side by side. So we have our dev values file, our test values file, and our prod. And you can see we just replicate our configuration between those different environments. You can see we have a vault configuration, which is using HashiCorp Vault to store all our secrets. And in this case, it's for our MySQL database. You can see there's the Spring Boot profiles that are active. There's the config server and the branch. So they can fetch config for the component service, any additional configuration for the component service. And there's our Amazon MQ configuration. Here we have our values.yaml file, which serves as our, like I said previously, for all our default configuration for across all environments and stages. For example, I've shown you how you can override your course configuration just by adding those configs in your Istio configuration. You can override the core configuration that might have been set in the component itself by the developers. Then once we have everything in order with our Helm charts, we should start seeing a pod being deployed in Argo CD. And you'll see these, should see some healthy green hearts like this to show that the application is healthy and that each part of the configuration is healthy. If you drill into those blocks, you'll be able to see the Kubernetes configuration for that particular part of the component. If any of you have any questions, ET is ready to field anything that you might have on your mind. ET is officially part of the CD Foundation too. Thank you very much, and thank you for the privilege of being able to bring this talk to the Ortelius conference. Bye for now.